Hello and welcome to another episode of the Silver and Black Coffee Hour, an Austin-based San Antonio Spurs podcast. Keeping it just a little bit weird over here. My name is Tom Petrini. So glad that you're all joining us. I'm joined today by my good friends Aaron Blackerby and Zach Montana. Aaron, how are you doing today? I see you're feeling festive.
Feeling festive. There's a lot of there's a lot of presents under my tree here. I made the joke to my wife this morning that our tree is hungry for more presents. Uh,
For the audio only listeners who we do care very much about, Aaron is wearing a Santa coat. He is easily the jolliest among the three of us.
hey,
But Zach Montana, how you doing, buddy?
Uh, I'm jolly now. We respected the cup, came up just a bit short, but we respected our last two opponents and it came up very well. So no complaints on my end. It's been a good week. Christmas is next week. Festive times.
man, speaking of, we're doing a Christmas themed episode today, y'all, and the Spurs treated the Wizards and Hawks like they were on the naughty list this week. We will get to that, but Jesus Christ, talk about a good old BTA type of win on both of
We've been
those.
waiting for a few of those.
Yeah. I mean, Tom, did
Zach,
you
you
think they
mentioned
got cold in there?
respecting the cup. I think that the Hawks uh, got even more cold than the Wizards. The Wizards, the Spurs allowed to believe in Santa for just a little bit. The Hawks had no such hope.
No.
And Zach, you mentioned respecting the cup. Uh, I think you know how sometimes you respect women so much that you don't even talk to them. That's how much the Spurs respected the cup, is that they realized that, you know what, it's actually better for us in the long run if we don't win this thing because we care so much about it that it'll, drive us to future
Ultimate
success.
spin zone right there from Miss Petrini. I mean, that is
There you go.
we're afraid to talk to her, so we'll just avoid it at all costs.
Yo, on a real note there does seem to have been something that feels unlocked for this team since that Thunder win. And I think, to a team is not linear throughout the entire season. There are so many ups and downs. There are so many different things to do. You catch teams on certain nights that they're not playing well. I mean, the Hawks right now are in this very weird spot for themselves of Trae Young came back, then he sits. Kristaps Porzingis has this weird disease that they can't get. And the first time we played them, we were like genuinely like concerned, like, oh, this is going to be like a tough game, and it was a much different result than the one from last night. So what I guess I'm trying to say is there are ebbs and flows to this, but there really seems to be from that OKC win, and I'd say even the Knicks loss of like this attitude of, yeah, we actually belong here. Um, sure, that cup loss against the Knicks was a little, I don't know how heartbreaking it was, but like I wouldn't have faulted them for coming out flat a little bit on the in the Wizards game, and they didn't. I know we're not fully getting into game recaps just yet, but I kind of wanted to ask if you guys have seen something similar, or y'all are thinking something similar with the way they're playing.
I'll let you start.
I I mean, you mentioned the ebbs and flows, right? And there are ebbs and flows, but also it seemed like the Thunder game was sort of a dam break moment, right? Which, changes just the uh every now and then tides that impact those ebbs and flows. This seemed to be the kind of thing where, like you said, they unlocked something, right? They unlocked the swag, as Ray Shremmerd would say. The swag unlocked. And but really though, it's not just about beating those teams on the way to the Cup final and playing, well enough in the Cup final to make it interesting down the stretch. Um, it's how they had to play to accomplish that, right? Um, I think it showed this team the level of physicality and preparation and focus, play in and play out every single moment that they're on the floor that is necessary to achieve the goals that they want to achieve. And you're right. Like they think about. I mean, let's. I'll get Zach's thoughts on this, and then we can get into the recaps to sort of just tell the story of this weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I mean, yes. I mean, of course, just like anything you do in
Well,
life,
which
when you
one
see
is
you,
it, Zach? Is it yes or no?
it's a yes. Just like any, just like
I'm a big
anything,
yeah, no guy. No, yeah,
just like
yeah,
anything
no,
in
no, yeah.
life, you know, you got to see yourself do it once or twice before you get a little confidence and feel yourself a little better. You know, you can say, "Oh, well, we match up well with these guys on paper," until you do it, until you see it, until you see the proof. It's like, okay, we can do it. And of course, the loss on Tuesday was tough. But I think for 3 quarters of that game, you were the better team. You can hang your hat on that and say we were the better team against a very experienced Knicks team. And if you we're not going to go into game recap, but it's just if you take away the magnitude of that game and just if it was a regular season game, the Spurs are winning that game. The Spurs are going to come out on top. I think there's a lot of growing that came with that game too, which is what you need, which is what we all wanted, which is what you the main goal of this cup run for me personally was I want to see this team grow up. And they did right before our eyes. And that's a win in the cup final would have been fantastic. But the fact that they got there and the road they had to go to get there, that means more to me than what the cup means in 10 years' time from now. And we look back and say, oh, the team's winning. They're winning. They know how to win all these big moments. Well, we can look back on that New York Knicks game and be like, well, that was when this tide started turning. The OKC game was when the tide started turning. The LA game, tide started turning. The Denver game, all on the road, the Portland game, all on the road, was when this team grew up. So win, loss in the cup final, whatever. That whole run was fantastic. So kudos to them.
Think what I'm hearing here is Zach is a big believer in the butterfly effect
Mm-hmm.
because it wasn't just that game. It was the game before, the game before, the game
Yep.
before. So
Would change a thing.
yeah. Well, let's jump into game recaps. And dudes, I know we didn't talk about this before logging on. Let's go 24 seconds on the other two games because there's truly not much to glean from
Yeah.
those, I
Mm-hmm.
think, from an analytical standpoint. But let's talk about the NBA Cup final. Just to give everybody a recap on it. Whew, it hurts when you have a game that you really have expectations on. Uh, but Tom and I, you and I watched the game. Zach, you were over at Bar Gimme Gimme for this one. Zach sent a text to us after the game saying, I hate it here. And I was like, Zach, this is embrace this, brother. This is what's up. Like we're back, baby. Like this is what we wanted.
I
Uh
love being in big games. I hate close big games because they're so scary to be in. I think that's what
yeah,
I
man.
meant.
But it was look, like you said, Zach, we were the better team for 3 quarters of that game. Um And then the wheels just really fell off, specifically with offensive rebounding, with a guy like Mitchell Robinson who decided to play volleyball in the middle of a basketball game. And the cool thing for Mitchell Robinson playing another sport while in another professional sport is no one else knew that. So they weren't going for the rebounds as much. Um, I think, we can talk about obviously the Wemby minutes restriction was tough. There was literally a time as we were watching the game where Tom was like, dang, Wemby's only got 4 points, and it was the third quarter, and then he went scorched earth and scored 12 points in a row. And then Mitch had to sit him, because of that minutes restriction. And look, the big elephant in the room we found out after the fact was that his grandmother had passed. And look, as someone who truly recently had his grandmother pass, it was kind of strange to hear that after the fact. And, it wasn't that long of a memory for me of remembering when my gran passed that day, I heard my brain was just in a fog all day. Like I didn't know what really to do. Um, other than try to go back down to Corpus and like spend time with my mom. Like that just felt like the only appropriate thing to do than anything else. So commend Wemby on trying to find some solace on the court and something like that. And also, I hope that he finds some time to find some peace for him and his family during that. Uh, but once again, it was a close game until it wasn't. I think you look at the final score on this game and you're kind of like, did we really have it? We could have. I personally was feeling the turning point of this game as someone who does watch a few Knicks games from here and there. I do think they're a really fun team to watch. When I saw Josh Hart holding his knee, I was like, "Oh God, he's about to go off." Because I see Josh Hart get hurt all the time in games, and then he goes like Wolverine mode or something, and is just like, "Okay, like now that I've gotten punched in the mouth, like it's time for me to get out there." And he hit that dagger three in the fourth. So. Um, Shout out to the Knicks. I wish y'all would hang this banner. Y'all hang banners for Billy Joel and Fish and division champions. Y'all haven't won any type
Whoa,
of
whoa, put
championship.
some respect on Billy Joel and Fish for a second,
I'm not
man.
I'm not being disrespectful. I'm saying
That's Long Island's native son.
you've put up banners for more innocuous things.
Three
The
Styles, 7 days in a row, got a banner up there.
yeah, man. So
Yeah,
That's
I
not
like
New
I
York's
like
own
Harry,
and
but
Tom.
Tom,
not as
I
That's
much as
not New
you
watched
York's own
guys.
Tom.
and Tom, I watched the Billy Joel documentary that was way too long. So, like, look, just out of music history curiosity. So, it's not a matter of throwing shade at those guys. I went to a fish show earlier this year. It was a lot of fun. Shout out to those guys and all their balloons. But look, Knicks, celebrate your wins, man.
No, I
I'm in a
agree.
merry mood, so like I want that for you.
No,
You
I
know?
agree. Put the banner up. Don't discredit the run you had, the games you won. I saw a funny tweet from Robe. He said you can go 16-2 in the playoffs and raise a banner. You got to go. You can only lose one game to lift the NBA Cup banner. So, I mean, that's give yourself a little bit of credit. You beat some teams, you beat some good teams. I do want to touch on your turning point, AB. I do think there was a multiple times in that game the Spurs could have kept extended the lead to 10 plus or kept a 10 plus point lead. And into the third quarter, into the second quarter were both crucial moments in that game. I feel like I had a nasty taste in my mouth at the start of halftime. I was like, man, Spurs should be up 7-8 right now. They're up whatever 3 or whatever it was. And then into the third, the Spurs were up 12 at one point or 11 at one point, and then the game it's a 5 point game. And I looked over at Mr. Ass, aka John from Twitter, and I was like, yo, the fact that this is a 2 possession game is this is you can see them in the rear view. If it was a 10 point game, 11 point game like it should be, you give yourself a little cushion, you give yourself a little leeway. And then Jordan Clarkson, San Antonio's on. Why you gotta do us like that, my boy? We love you down here, and you doing us like that. All good though. Not too mad because it's a guy from San Antonio who did us dirty.
Something that I've learned about Jordan Clarkson from just, listening to various podcasts and looking at stats across the league. Apparently, he's like a pretty normal guy on average over the course of 82 games. It's just everything. Like, I thought he was like an all-star level player because
Nah,
every
he just
time he
does
plays
it.
the Spurs,
Yeah.
he explodes.
He's like
But apparently he's like,
he's like this generation's
he's all right.
he's like this generation's Jeff Teague.
Mm.
There was a time when Jeff Teague was playing and people were like, is he good or is he not? And then you like looked at his rank against like all starting point guards in the league and it was like he's literally the middle demarcation point between whether you are good or bad. It's like be a Jeff Teague. Jordan Clarkson, the
Yeah.
Jeff Teague of the current age
Jordan
the
Jordan
NBA.
Jordan Clarkson, Spurs kryptonite. Um, Here's the thing about the banners, and as somebody who grew up in that New York media market, I understand, and I think that it's really a situation no win for the team that wins, right? Which is great. It's another great thing that the Spurs have avoided here entirely. Because they knew that if they won, you got a couple choices. Either, you know, you celebrate this, you pop some bottles, you have a good time, you take your pictures, you hang a banner, you're proud of yourself, everybody clowns you. Oh, look at these guys. How cute. They won in-season tournament. Get back to me in May, you losers. And then in New York, where they haven't hung a banner in 50 years for non-Billy Joel related things, that yeah, I get it. I get it.
You're gonna
But
be
then
made
but
fun
then
of
they
one
don't
way
do
or
it.
another. The Lakers pull one
Exactly.
up,
They
the Bucks pull
they
one up.
don't do it, and then it's
We're
like
we're
hardo,
talking about
like
straw man arguments here. Like, just take pride as an organization in your achievements.
No,
Like,
I totally agree. I think if an organization like the Lakers, who has 15 plus championships, hangs a banner, and you have an organization like the Knicks, who haven't seen their team win in multiple decades, you hang the banner. You hang the banner. The Spurs would have hung the banner. I know that I'm pretty confident the Spurs hang a banner because I'm sure Wemby says hang a banner because we won something, and it doesn't. The Spurs have won five. They can be like, no, we know what it's like to win a championship. The Knicks have
Wemby
no
said
idea what
before the
it's like
game
to.
though.
A normal Knicks fan has no idea what it's like to win a championship. So hang the fucking banner.
But they know this isn't that, right? And I
But
think
it's
Wemby
something
before the
similar.
game
It's
was
something
like,
close.
we're
Give
not.
yourself something to
He
celebrate.
he was like, we're not doing the champagne and stuff.
I don't like
But
that.
you
It's
know,
too cool for
in
school.
any case, this was a really emotional game for the Spurs. I'm glad they lost. I'm really glad they
Don't
lost.
have to
And
do the banner talk.
I think
we
Mitch
instead
Johnson
we're on a
probably glad they
Spurs.
lost too.
Instead, we're on a Spurs podcast talking about whether the Knicks should hang a banner. With that being said, fellas, I'm putting 24 seconds on my
Do it.
clock. Tom, you got the Zards game. You are actually in attendance, and the ball is in your possession. Go.
Okay, so Zards hung around a little bit first half. Spurs clicked into a higher gear. Great game for the Slash Bros. Castle, intense, unselfish out of the gate. Dylan Harper, career high, 24
Seven
points.
seconds.
Uh, important for Fox on a night where Fox didn't have his
Two.
best stuff.
One.
Wemby, freaky as always. I've got some stuff because I was here though. So if
Yeah.
that's the game, right? Now let me talk just a little bit about around the
Tom
game.
got the rebound. Possession back to him.
Yes,
14
right.
seconds.
All about extra possessions. Nah. So we saw Jeremy Sohan. We saw Carter Bryant after Mitch Johnson sort of shortened his rotation for the cup, right? We hadn't seen those guys in a week. Not the biggest impact from either, but good to see them out there and contributing. After the game, I asked Mitch Johnson, I was like, you guys just came off of some really intense physical games. Um, Obviously, you want to keep playing that way, but how do you sort of manage, right, the right level of that so you're not putting unnecessary wear and tear on guys? And he told me flat out, there is nowhere to conserve energy the way that we want to play, right? And then he got very detailed and specific about the way that they want to play, the way that they want to play pressuring attack defense, get out in transition, play fast, flatten the floor, which was an interesting turn of phrase, but immediately made sense to me, right? It's taking spacing to a different level, right? It's, you think about that defense as like an elastic thing that five guys can pull on and stretch out all across their side of the floor, right? And so, in order for the Spurs to play that style and level of basketball, they're going to need contributions up and down the roster. The interesting stat for me in this game: Spurs' largest deficit was 1 point, and they trailed for 1% of this game. They built the lead up to 26 and led for 93% of the game. And in the next game, against the Atlanta Hawks, who are a better team, the Spurs did even better. So I will toss it off to Zach for that one.
All
Ooh,
right,
wait. One
Zach.
last thing. The Jackals got a chant sheet
Oh, nice.
distributed
Love
at the
that.
game
For everybody?
for anybody who wants to. Yeah, anybody
Awesome.
walking in for if you want to participate in the chats. And Luke Cornett pose shirt in the team store. Fun stuff.
Great stuff. And Tom, you kind of went Mitchell Robinson mode with all those offensive boards
Yeah,
there
you
for
just
your
kept throwing it
possession.
back up. 14
Sorry
seconds,
about it.
14 seconds,
It's
14
all
Playing a
good.
seconds.
different sport out here.
Zach, let's see if you can be like the 7 seconds or less Phoenix Suns here, because I really don't know what there is to glean from the Hawks game. So you are on the clock. Go.
The ATL boys showed up. Shout out to them. Devin Vassell started out 3 for 3 from the 3-point line, which kind of set the tone for the night. Spurs never looked back. Steph Castle was great. Devin Vassell was great. Wemby, off minutes are getting kind of acclimated. 26 points,
5
21
seconds.
minutes. That's all you need to know. Spurs whooped ass, belt to ass again. Simple as that.
Wow. Zach got it right
And
at the
and
buzzer.
better Hawks and took the made better odds for their Hawks picks. So the dub all around.
Yeah, man, when you like see that 24 seconds like on your phone just kind of go, I'm like, how the hell do they play basketball at this
That shit's
speed?
quick.
It's really quick. Last year, like Chris Paul being like, all right, I will get the ball across the half court line at 17, 16 seconds. Just like, brother, like we gotta roll. Well, I mean, is there anything? I mean, it would truly turned into being a little belt to ass, 2 games in a row on back to backs. Um, Pretty fascinating stuff. But here at Silver and Black Coffee Hour Enterprises, we told you this is going to be more of a Christmas themed episode. And before Christmas, Seinfeld, back in the 90s, helped invent a new holiday called Festivus. And so before you celebrate with merriment and presents and everything, you got to get out your complaints. You got to get out your Festivus miracles. And here at Silver and Black Coffee Hour Enterprises, we have some. I don't know how serious any of these really are after the last few weeks that we've had. But you know what? We're going to get these out, and then we're going to ask Santa Claus what we want for the rest of this Spurs season with our Christmas wish list. So, guys, as George Costanza said, I got a lot of problems with you people, and you're all going to hear them. Let's get into maybe paraphrasing. I'm sure there's going to be a Seinfeld head out there in the comments that's going to tell me like that is not what he said. That's
They're
totally
gonna air
fine.
their grievances on you, my friend.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine. By the way, like and subscribe to the podcast. Give us your comments. Maybe you have some Festivus complaints that you'd like to get off your chest. Either way, let's hop into it. Zach, sometimes people on the streets call you the hot take artist of Silver and Black Coffee Hour.
Fair.
So just looking at the run of show though here, what you have written, I'm not sure. What's a Festivus complaint you have for right now?
You hit the nail on the head earlier. After the last few weeks of this game, or the last few weeks of the Spurs team has shown, what do you want me to complain about? More wins? They're third in the West. What do you want
You
me to beat?
definitely can.
You want me to complain about? You want me to complain about? Oh, you need to beat big teams. Well, we already beat a lot of big teams in the West and the East, so I'm gonna have to make this. It's not really a complaint. I just want to see the Fiesta jerseys more. Give me more reason to wear that damn uniform because it is so sexy, home or away. Look, if it's having to put the new court down, don't even worry about the court. We'll just wear the jersey. Don't worry about the court if you don't need to hire extra labor or whatnot. If that's a pain in the ass, I get it. Just wear the jersey, man. The warms are sick. The jersey's sick. I need to see that at least once a week from here on out.
Okay, that's one
Said maybe
complaint down.
that's
Not sexy enough. More sexy jerseys.
That's it.
maybe that's the grievance is that this team has not given us enough things to complain about, making this section difficult.
You're making it hard for us,
Seriously,
Spurs.
I was racking my brain this morning trying to find some Festivus complaints. I got some.
Yeah, Tom, you're a New Yorker, man. Long Island
We always
Yeah,
represent, home of the Wu-Tang
yeah.
Clan, or
we always got
something
something to
like
complain
that.
about.
Like,
It
yeah,
is. It is.
yeah.
Um, yeah, we can get I can have a little sandpaper to my game if I so choose. I
Go off,
just,
King.
we're more about high praise on here. But since tis the season, right? Uh, I do have a couple things. So, on the most granular level, we're big So stands on this podcast. So stands stand up. I would love to see the the best that Jeremy Sohan has in what feels like a make or break stretch for him, right? His role for his entire career here has been inconsistent in terms of what he's been asked to do. He is, I think, in terms of like players who the Spurs have drafted as the trade deadline approaches, I think he is the guy who is probably most in danger of not being here come March, right? If the Spurs are to make a deadline deal, I'm not saying that they will, but this does feel like, all right, man. If you're gonna do your thing, if you're gonna do your thing here, you got to show us something now in whatever opportunities you get. The perimeter defense for the team needs to improve. I think he can be a factor in that. But this is like with the time that Wemby missed, they won those games on their offense, not their defense, right? It's not that Luke Cornett is a bad defender. The Spurs need to tighten up on the perimeter. They need to have a much better understanding of and execution of running guys off the line and making sure that they're heading to the rim protectors, and then the guys who ran them off the line are finding whoever they got to find on the perimeter again. It's got to breathe. It's got to be a constant whirring machine of defense. And then on the other side, also at the three-point arc, overall the Spurs have been very good shooting the ball from three this year, better than I expected. And they're getting it from a lot of different places. Fox has been really good. Harper's been coming on lately. The thing that I want to see more of is just the consistency with it, right? Because it seems like
Tom,
you're
say
not
it
really
say it
sure.
with your chest. I need some of that Christmas New Yorker energy here. We're festivusing right now. I need
Okay,
yeah.
okay. You want me to you want me to be mean? Okay, fine. I'll be mean. Uh, we need to know who's going to deliver coming in, right? Even Mr. 100%, Harrison Barnes, was Mr. 0% for 3 games. He missed like 16 in a row, which seems mathematically impossible. I'm still trying to figure that one out, right? Uh, so it would be good, it would be cool if these Spurs could, just night in and night out, be a little less streaky on the shooting, please. Thank you. Aaron,
All
you
right.
got some animosity to share?
I've got animosity to share, y'all. I'm very surprised that we went very level-headed on this. Like,
They're really good.
they're really good.
I mean, like, it's hard to. It's last year, 2 years ago. This would have been easy. Now
Oh, I
it's
got.
difficult.
Hey, look.
If you want to complain about 2 years ago shit,
Yeah, yeah.
that could work.
Well, yeah, no issue. I
I
got a
look.
list.
I'll go right here. First and foremost, grab some boards. All right, grab some boards. Get out there. Should be winning the rebounding battle. You got big old Wemby, who before he was hurt was leading the league in rebounds. Then you got Luke Cornett out there. Grab the boards. I do want to say something very cool that I've been seeing that Luke Cornett, I think, first started doing, and now Wemby is doing as well. Actually, in regards to this, they those two box out the big guy, and by box out, I mean they turn around and they throw their chest into him, so that the big guy is not getting the board, and then you have Vassell, Castle, Champagny Johnson, like all of them crashing the board. So that's a really cool rebounding strategy that I see. And no, I'm not going to be nice about this. Look, I'm going back to my complaint. This is Festivus, damn it. Grab the boards. Second complaint here. I want to talk to you refs, you zebras out there, okay? Make some eye contact with me. Make some eye contact. Look at me. Look at me, okay? Refs, except for you, Bill Kennedy, you are the sexiest ref out there. Not gonna lie, I love it when you do challenges. Um,
We had two of them last the game we went to. It was the best.
it was amazing. The guy is making love to the camera.
Purred happily on the mic.
Purred
He
happily,
loves
yes,
it.
dude.
He looks forward to a
The
challenge.
call against the team was a foul.
He looks
And
forward
we
to a
looked
challenge.
at
Like,
the
oh, wait.
foul, and it was not a foul.
He literally goes. He
Fantastic.
literally like goes up. He's like, "Hey, how's everybody doing? You guys, I know it's last call. I know it's last call. And I know everybody's like ready to go home and everything, but look, Mitch Johnson was right. It was a foul. Everybody good? Okay, cool. Let's go back to the game. Like I love Bill
So good.
Kennedy. He until I hate him. Anyway, I'm going back to the refs. Look, refs, your job is to police the game. Okay? We saw in that OKC game, Alex Caruso basically gets to bring in some sort of metal chair or a 2x4 and whack people over the head all freaking game. Shout out to Coach Finch last night in that Minnesota game for getting kicked out 6 minutes in and basically being like, you need to call fouls.
He
Police the
called him
game.
you. He said, "You come here, you piece of shit. You're a piece of shit."
Like, yo, shout out to Chris Finch for doing that. I ended up
He went
watching that
full
game.
Tim Robinson.
Oh,
But
I
That
love
was
like,
it.
incredible.
but what I mean here is, and once again, it's kind of hard to complain because like last night in the Hawks game, I thought they called it pretty well. Uh, game calls that I hadn't seen Wemby get, he was getting calls that look. Someone just make sure Stefan Castle is okay every game, that he is rehabbing well, that he's getting his recovery because that dude gets hit in the face all the time. He's bleeding everywhere on the court. And I I just want the refs to call the game appropriately. So I'm looking at you refs, okay? We got three demons that are ready to get downhill on your ass. And guess what? They're going to force the call on you. So refs,
Castle in particular, it feels like he's getting like a LeBron whistle where he's just like knocking the crap out of everybody, and so the ref's like, I can't call anything here, you know?
Well, last
dude,
And
night,
it's like he's gonna wind up in the blue tent with Cam Scatterboo and Jackson Dart.
was the first time I've heard him like because you could catch some audio pickup during the game on the court, and he got hacked crazy on a layup, made it, and you heard him the whole way down the court just yell, "And one, and one," and he just yelled at the ref like, "Call the damn foul." I thought he
look,
was gonna get teched up.
we good, man. Look, you at some point the Spurs are going to need to do some Phil Jackson Jedi mind trick shit like in post-game pressers about this. We're really seeing this actually across the league with like Ime Udoka the other day and
Yeah, big
Chris
fun
Finch
time.
last night. So, yeah, refs. And then look, here's my last complaint before we get into our wish list actually. Victor Wembanyama. What the hell, man? Why haven't you scored 100 points yet? Why? We all say no shot of yours is blockable. I truly believe that. I truly believe in you. I mean, I don't think what I'm asking for is insane. And the fact that you haven't put up 100 points yet in a game, it just doesn't feel right. So let's transition to our Christmas wish list. I'll go first. I would like Santa Claus to give Wimby a 100-point game
I say, why not?
or another 5x5. I mean, I just think I want to see some more like statistical anomalies from him overall. Let's just say one of our wishes and then we'll kind of jump to each other. So instead of like all at
I
once.
so I want to be more realistic. 100 points. People forget that Wilt Chamberlain not a real guy. Okay,
Yeah,
so I don't know if the 100 points thing.
notoriously fake
Yeah,
AI.
not a real guy.
Fake
So,
AI for Will Chamberlain.
yeah, yeah, deep fake, deep fake. You ever seen the video from that game? No,
I've
because
seen
nobody has.
I've seen
Whatever.
videos of things I shouldn't see videos of. I haven't seen videos of that.
Yeah. But in any case, I think we should be more realistic, more reasonable in what we hope Santa brings us for Wemby. How about a quadruple double, a defensive player of the year, and MVP? I think that's actually in the realm of possibility.
I was going to say that is genuinely not unreasonable, especially once he gets off his minutes restriction. Even if he just plays 30, like,
He could do it.
yeah. Okay, Zach, what's
Like
your
the
what's your wish list? What's the first one on yours?
I need to see our boy Devin Vassell in the 3-point shooting contest this year. That's what I want to see. Shooting 40% from three, top 25 in attempts per game and makes per game. We need to see Devin Vassell in the 3-point shooting contest, especially what we've seen over the last month and a half. That shooting percentage rising, rising, rising. He's going to get it up to 40, 41% by the end of the year if he keeps shooting like this. Put him in the fucking 3-point contest.
Interesting. I'd like to see a Spur in the 3-point contest, but I worry that his release is a little too long to be in the 3-point contest.
We're not worrying about release. We're just talking about numbers right now. We want to
Just want to
see him
get
in
him
that.
in.
I think our players this season should be represented properly. The players that played great basketball. Steph needs to be back in the dunk contest so we can win it again. And we need to see Devin in that 3-point shooting contest and throw Wemby. And you know what? Let's sign Chris Paul on a single day contract and get him in the skills competition again. And then we'll really do it all again.
Run it back. In fact, do the exact same thing you did last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
Take the ultimate piss.
amazing.
can, can we just take 1 second on Chris Paul? Because my God, they did him so dirty. You know that scene in 30 Rock where Liz is realizing that like the person that she thought was her high school bully was actually just trying to be nice to her, and Liz reflexively was mean to her in
Yeah.
response. That's kind of what it feels like for Chris Paul. He was like, "Hey guys, you want to come to my Halloween party? Like,
Three
I got
guys
us,
showed up.
tickets to the Rams game." And like, Van Gundy's like, "This guy is the worst."
Halloween party? Get this fucking guy out of here.
It just
oh my
goes to
God,
show
terrible.
further my disdain for Jeff Van Gundy seems warranted. Dude would
Yeah,
be on
and it
TV just talking shit about the game he was watching. And I was just like, brother, like, do you not enjoy anything in life? And clearly he doesn't, with the way Chris Paul was like, I have a suite at SoFi Stadium. I'm having a Halloween party. Would you like to come, Jeff? No.
Get fucked, Chris. How about that?
are you mad at me, dude? Get out of my face! Like, and then Chris Paul. It was good to see Chris Paul at that Spurs Thunder game. Two teams he's played for recently. Like he was in Steph Castle's ear on that night.
Yeah.
It was cool to see. It was beautiful. You are loved here in San Antonio, Chris Paul. I can't believe I'm saying that. Just based on the first 20 years of knowing you, but like.
I, yeah. Well, I'm going to jump to my next wish. Kind of piggybacking on Tom and his Festivus section. Look, I think we are still a bit thin at the four. So one of my wish lists in a more serious tone is I would like to see the development of Carter Bryant or Jeremy Sohan be able to jump into that spot. If there was anything I took from like the Knicks games in particular that I think will rear its head come playoff time with us, it's going to be not just rebounds per se, but just being a little thin at that position right now. And when I say like development, truly, this is all I mean, fellas. Just be able to handle the ball. I think if either of them just work on their handle, that is going to be good enough for them to get some really uh, meaningful playoff minutes. even if it's like 10 to 15 minutes out there throughout the course of the game, because I do believe in both of their defenses, but they just got to be able to help take care of the ball on offense a little better, especially with the rest of the offense being so drive and kick friendly. Um, so that's the next one on my wish list. Zach, what do you got?
Am I allowed to sing, or are we gonna get copyrighted?
Um, I don't know. Go off.
All I want for Christmas is a Wemby-Fox pick and roll. Let's just get this going. Let's get this process going. Let's expedite it. Let's get this show on the road. We know what's inevitably gonna be a big staple in this offense. Let's get the show on the road. More Wemby pick and rolls with Fox.
All right,
You
I
did
like
not
that.
want Mariah Carey coming after
I
you.
I
That was
did
smart.
not
That was
I
smart.
did not. That's why I asked, because I know Mariah
Much
Carey would come
respect.
get my ass.
Much respect to Mariah Carey. If we ever do get in trouble with Mariah Carey, we will have to go through the proper channels, talk to Keldon,
Yes,
see if he can help us smooth things
yes.
over.
You know he was pissed
Um,
in Vegas because he didn't get to see the Mariah Carey show.
oh, she was out there
She
while they
was
were
out
out
there.
there?
Yeah,
Oh,
Damn.
nice.
they.
That
Yeah,
is tragic for KJ,
you know he was
actually.
pissed.
What do you got, Tom?
Um,
What's next on your wish list?
so if it's not too much to ask, I'd love to see some more blowout wins. These
Ooh,
last two have been really nice. It's not something that the Spurs, as good as their season has been, they haven't done that as much. It's been more close games, more clutch games, which is great as they, sort of uh, build their strength in the crucible of competition. Um, but it's like Mitch Johnson said, to maintain this level of play, this level of physicality, you're gonna need it from up and down the roster. The He said there's nowhere to conserve energy. Uh, for the main guys, they can conserve energy when you're up, 25 in the fourth quarter. It's working out great for the Thunder. Spurs copied their blueprint with the draft picks and the team building. Now just following their footsteps of like beating everybody and beating most people by like 25, so that you can get the mop unit some meaningful minutes, so that you can keep your guys fresh for the next game and for the end of 82.
Yeah.
um,
the last few
yeah.
nights have felt like 2014 Spurs, where you just kind of kick your feet back. Half times, third quarter's over. Wimby checks out at the 10:40 mark in the fourth. You're like, okay, he's doing
Yeah,
rehab.
can't
He's
can't
doing
have
rehab during the game.
third quarter woes when Wemby is in the game.
Won four third quarters in a row from the fellas, so shout out
Yeah,
to them.
your bench points. I mean, the funny thing about this team is like people were already saying like, wow, they're so deep, their bench points, and now it's like Wemby's just coming off the bench, and not for the foreseeable future, but still, it's just funny. Like last night, the graphic was like 49 bench points. I was like,
Yeah,
Wemby has 26.
yeah,
Like,
they did that at the OKC game, and I was like, it's a little skewed though. It's a little
whatever.
skewed.
It'll all come out in the wash. I got the last one, I think, here before we jump into our previews for the next week. Look, true wish list. I feel like we have seen this. I want to see Western Conference Finals with this team. I I do currently at the moment think that it's possible. You look at the back end of this schedule and how home friendly it's going to be in March and April. Fellas, we're going to be really needing to make sure our cars are like taken care of for going up and down 35 come the
You need a
spring.
residency.
Yeah, man, because like this team has really been forged through the fire of being on the road together. They still have the rodeo road trip. I'm really excited for that. So I'm going to go Western Conference finals for them as my last
Maybe
wish.
I don't want to. I don't want to like drag this on too long, but I mean, you make a great point. The fact that this team has been on the road, you would think you look at the record, and you compare like a team like Houston or like OKC. I saw a stat the other day. The Spurs are now 9-6 against or 9-5 against teams with winning or 500 or better records, and some teams haven't played more than five teams of that. So the Spurs are 20-7, and you're looking, and they played month on the road. You're like, wait a second. This is This is looking like, and they're 10-2 at home, so it's like, okay, like we're building something here.
And even their home game against the Wizards, it's like one night only.
The
Yeah,
same
dude.
thing happened the week before.
Yeah,
One night only.
it's not a homestand. If anything, it's kind of worse, I feel like, because it's like you get one night in your bed and then you gotta go out the next one, you know? So I
Trap game,
yeah.
classic trap game.
I
They're
They've been on the
2
road since November 23rd.
yeah.
2-0 against awful back-to-back games where they had to play in San Antonio, fly to an early game across the country, and win that game. 2-0.
It's impressive. And I said this to a buddy yesterday I was having lunch with. I was like, they're easily a year ahead of schedule. I think.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't I thought we were not we thought they were going to be good, and we have been saying that they're going to be have a lot of depth, but this has been just such a it's not a Christmas miracle. It's not. Not today. They've been prepping for this. I guess Wemby is the Christmas miracle when you think about it, that there's this 7'5"
Or
guy
Dylan,
alien who can
or
getting Dylan
Steph.
Harper and stuff, you know. Okay. Okay, there are Christmas miracles here actually. Thank you, Zach. I appreciate the correction. You've been my
Yeah.
accountability buddy for this. We'll do that
I
segment
got you,
another
big dog.
day. But let's jump in to the week ahead, y'all. Um, we got a Christmas Day game. We got a game before Christmas. But even before that, see, I'm doing the Zach thing here, the butterfly wings. We have our first game against the Washington. Oh, the first game of this week is against the Washington Wizards in DC, a place where they just released the Epstein files. I know Zach is very excited about that.
It looks like my damn shirt blacked out.
You know, shout out for the Friday news dump of the Epstein files with all those redacted pictures with Bill Clinton. Crazy, crazy stuff. Can't wait to have some weekend reading material. But regardless,
You're not reading shit. You're just looking at blacked out lines.
well, there is reading there to be had too, Zach. But still, we're
Move to the
playing
next
the
subject.
Wizards, and I would say that probably the Epstein files are a great read with this game. Once again, they're not a very good team, but watch out for CJ McCollum. That dude is always due for a heater at some point in these games. I They will also be coming off of a back-to-back against the Grizzlies that they're playing, who are all of a sudden a spicy and feisty team, thanks to one of the Spencer brothers, the Lax Bros of the NBA. So that's cool. And they're actually going to be playing Memphis in Memphis and then traveling back to DC. So we will be the more rested team going into this game. If there's any type of TCOB again, it's this one. But my question for y'all before you get into y'all's part of the preview. So Wemby going back in the starting lineup for this game.
Hell no, he's playing 17 minutes again. They know this is the only time, hopefully, for the rest of the season that he'll be able to get that second exception game between 15 and 20 minutes. And so he'll play 17 minutes, he'll score 35 points, and the Spurs will win by 62.
Sick. Is
I mean, no.
okay. Y'all got anything else
I
on
am
this game?
I am curious to see, because in that first game against the Wizards, it's not like Jeremy just got mop up minutes. He was the first off the bench, right? So I'm curious to see how he treats his rotation in this game, especially heading into a big ol' doubleheader
Yeah, there's a
against the
big week
defending
coming up.
champion
They're
Oklahoma City Thunder.
yeah, they have a big week. I think this is a keep easing him back in.
Yeah. Let's jump to that. We have the double dipper, a home and home against the Oklahoma City Thunder, coming to San Antonio on Tuesday night. Uh, Hopefully, all three of us are going to be in the building. We're still trying to figure that out, but some of the fellas are definitely going to be in the building. Frostbank Center, I hope you're rocking out for this one and you are ready to yell, Jackals, we need chance of flopper. I don't think y'all get to go full on inappropriate, but like I'll leave that to y'all. Y'all are the experts on the cheering section. Um, but
I've got a bunch of questions. So,
Go.
and I know that you're more my answers guy. So let me start with the questions. We'll get Zach in here, and then go to Aaron for some answers. Question number one: how did the Thunder adjust to what San Antonio did to them? What kind of whistle will these physical teams get after a really tough first game? And how does it change from game to game? Do we get more of a regular season whistle on the 23rd and more of a national spotlight game whistle on the 25th? Interested to see what happens there.
Well,
How much is Mitch Johnson willing to show Oklahoma City, right? When it seems like these teams are maybe on a collision course in the postseason. Every minute of film is going to be valuable. So yeah, what were you going to say, Zach?
well, you asked about the whistle last night. I thought it was
Yeah.
extremely interesting. I watched the Timberwolves Oklahoma City game last night. I don't know how if you saw how many free throws OKC gave up last night, but it was a lot. They gave
I
up
think it was
47 free throws last night. And so they clearly someone made a call to the league office and said these guys are hacking. Call the damn fouls. And the game should have been a blowout. I mean, what was it I remember correctly, Timberwolves went 33 from 47 from the free throw line. That's horrible. Yeah, they're
Yucky.
horrible.
Very, very yucky. Uh, one other big question that I have in here is does Chet Holmgren try once again to prove a point against Wembanyama, or did he learn from the last time?
The last two
In the
oh
times.
matchups previously, he's been like, I'm just going to play the team game. And it seemed like last game he was like, you know what? I got something for this guy. And
I
then in
yeah.
10 seconds realized he did not.
Well, I think to kind of answer some of your questions, if I was OKC, I'd probably try to look at attacking De'Aaron Fox first and foremost. Um, on when they're on offense, that's who I would look for switches on with him and see if he can either get him into foul trouble. And if you do, then you have your two younger guards, Harper and Castle, in there. And I would imagine they think that they have the mental fortitude to exploit them on that. I will also be curious to see this game on mixing up defensive looks against Wemby. I wouldn't be surprised if we do actually see some Chet on Wemby on the defensive end. We've seen J Dub in the past play center as well, so something like that, as well as Caruso, Dort, those sorts of things. I am also curious in this game if this is a little bit more French vanilla. If Mitch Johnson wants to go matching Hartenstein and Chet as well. I think we actually did pretty well in the first game of not going to that. But if say boards are becoming a problem because of their size and length, that's something I would be curious about. The other thing I'm curious about, to your point, Tom, on the whistle, we'll see where it goes. I think both area arenas are going to be rocking. I mean, big Christmas Day game in the middle
Mm-hmm.
of it. Wemby loves a big stage. Shea
Ooh.
loves a big stage. I think all of these dudes really thrive on that. What I'm going to wonder, though, this is very going to be very similar to that Warriors series we had, even though that was just a home and home. This is going to be both games were at home for that one. I mean, um, is it going to come down to adjustments or just execution? Because I could see a world where both of these coaches think that they already have the proper adjustments on how they want to attack. And if they're just like, hey, like, we just didn't play well this game. Like, we're just going to go do the same thing again. And that was something that, like, the Spurs, they did so well on um, in the first game. It wasn't a pretty game between either one of them. I think you could probably walk out of that game despite the Spurs winning and their physical dominance of going, hey, they just didn't execute well. The Spurs were what, 0 for 14 from three? So, yeah, like,
That's No, that's
go
one
on.
thing I wanted to touch on when you were talking about adjustments, what adjustments OKC will have and what adjustments Mitch will make. I think the Spurs, if I remember correctly, they missed They were 0 for 10, 0 for 11 from the corner on threes, and 7 of the 11 were considered wide open shots in NBA's clarification standards, 6 feet open, whatever it is.
And
Hmm.
I think they missed their first 12 threes of the
Yes,
game.
yes. So and it wasn't, and we talked about this. It wasn't like they were getting bad looks, chunking it up. The Spurs were getting great looks from the corner. And Stan Van Gundy kept saying, "Well, this is what OKC gives up. This is what they will live with this. They collapse on the paint. The Spurs just need to keep getting in the lane, and that's what happens to the OKC Thunder defense. Is it collapses. There are open shots on the wings and in the corners. If they hit their shots this game, it's not they're not going to shoot 41% from the floor. I don't think both teams shoot 41% from the floor again when they play each other. So I think you game one. I think you see a lot of the same maybe tendencies that you saw in the NBA Cup final or the semifinal. Game two, the Christmas Day game, I think you see adjustments. I think you see a different game played on the Christmas Day game.
The most wildest adjustment I can think of just now is trying to bait them into going downhill. So they go full James Harden in the playoff mode where they're actually guarding him from behind. And
Behind.
so they're encouraging Steph Castle, they're encouraging Harper, they're encouraging Fox to come downhill and swarm them because they have the length to be able to do that. And they know that it's going to lead to a kick out. And so being able to swarm those immediate passing lanes with their long arms, that's just a radical idea. I'm not actually here to help Mark Daignault with his job. He's a very smart guy. And if I was Mitch Johnson, I would just take the Alex Caruso type of mentality, and I would bring a 2x4 and knock it over SGA's head. If he wants to get foul baited, just make him count then. Like I don't want to be full 90s boomer on it, but yeah.
You sound like Sean Elliott right now.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta be nostalgic for the good old days. Is there anything else y'all want to talk about these two games before we go to the last one?
Nah, because I think those corner threes are going to be if Harrison Barnes hits his shot in the semifinals, the Spurs win comfortably. I think we don't. Same thing in the finals. The Spurs got great looks in the finals too. So I mean, I think the offense is completely fine where it is with Steph Castle running it, with Darren Fox understanding that hey, when they need me, I'll be here ready to go break. If there's ever a worse play, like break the glass in case of emergency, who is it? Oh, it's Darren Fox. Oh, like damn, could be so much worse. Like that's
Yeah.
what the Spurs are dealing with right now.
Yeah. What about you, Tom? Anything else on OKC Spurs?
I'm just excited to see it, man. You know that Wemby gets up for big games. I'm excited to see who comes with him.
Continuous measuring stick. And then a very interesting game against, I think personally, a more intriguing opponent than I think Zach does against the Utah Jazz. Um, Look, this, let me see. I pulled up some stats here for him. Look, it's going to be kind of a quicker turnaround for the Jazz. They will actually be playing against the Pistons the night before in Salt Lake City. And it's an 8:30 game for that, and then they're going to travel to San Antonio. So watch out. That's something where maybe they end up playing well, but I don't think this is a full-on take care of business game as far as an opponent. Keontae George is having a career year. He's very good. Lauri Markkanen, man of many trade rumors to the Spurs, also shooting lights out. I believe he's averaging 27.9 points per game. He is awesome. The other thing, I don't know if you guys know about this, but the Jazz are actually statistically closer than the Spurs might initially imagine, um, despite their records. So the Jazz are seventh in points. We are sixth. They are, when it comes to rebound, ninth. And oh no, they're seventh in rebounds. We're ninth, and they're actually second in assists. Well, we're 17th. So, look, I think we should win this game. I if this ends up being a blowout, I would honestly be surprised because we're going to have two very hard games against the Thunder. So I'm not pulling this in the full TCOB category, but I would like to see Dylan Harper on this one have a big game because he's going up against his boy Ace Bailey. What do you guys got on this one?
Like, I just think we're getting to this point in the season. We're, 27 games in with this team. I think we know what we have. I think we know what the Spurs are. And so it isn't a full take care of business game in the sense of you have a soft game against the Wizards, you have a kind of a whatever game against the Jazz, and you have two barn burners in between. I think in a sense of having to come back down to earth, we've seen this team do it this past week after an emotional few games where they lost one, they won a few, and then they took care of business the next two games. I think that's where it is. I think that's where we're at with this team. These are mature performances. I talked about last night. These are mature. These are times for this team to mature. Every team you play in the league is good. These are all NBA basketball players, but I think the Spurs are just figuring these things out. And I think the next step in their greatness or their maturity or growth is just to take care of these games that these teams are. This team is 10-16 right now. You win these games and you move on.
What do you got, Tom?
I think it's a similar sort of test of mental fortitude that Washington game was. You know, you're playing against a team that you should beat. The Jazz, I mean, listen, Will Hardy has them playing probably above where they should be, right? Although in terms of their like overall rankings for, counting stats, I think a lot of that is sort of pace inflated. This is a team that plays at the third highest pace in the NBA right now. So you're going to have to be, careful to not fall into the trap of this trap game. And you're going to have to control the pace as much as you can, but also keep up with the pace when it gets fast. And I think the Spurs can do a little bit of both. And it just comes down to the sort of relentless style of basketball that Mitch Johnson has these guys playing, which, by the way, just got a story up on that for Spurs on SI. It was a fun one to write. It's a fun one to think about. Go check it out when you're done listening to this.
One last thing on this game. Currently, Lauri Markkanen is listed as day to day on the injury report. Will be interesting to see if this is a tryout game for his trade potential, or if he's going to be sitting out on a back-to-back. So
What does he have? Might get traded itis?
he might get traded itis, yeah.
Yeah.
It is debilitating across the league, and if for some reason it's popping up after December 15th. I don't know if it's like the flu or something, but it's out
Airborne.
there.
Very seasonal ailment.
Yeah.
Airborne.
Yeah, it's an airborne disease born of Shams Charania.
Don't
Um,
cough too hard. You'll be on a different team.
all right, y'all. Well, I've had a lot of fun with this one today. Let's get into records. What do you guys got for this upcoming week? We got 4 games between now and the next time we record. Oh, Zach, you're salivating, bro. Are you gonna do what I think you're gonna do?
Maybe.
Go off, King. Come on.
You know, I think honestly, we're gonna go 3-1. But I think one of the wins or one of the losses is gonna be someone you don't expect to be from. I think that's where it's coming down to.
Interesting. I just thought you were. I could see you battling between head and heart there of what you wanted and what you thought. That
I
was
was
pretty
like,
fun.
do I want to fight with more OKC fans on Twitter or not? That's what I was thinking.
I will say, I don't want to disparage anybody or make generalizations, but I've been arguing on the internet with sports fans for the better part of my whole entire life. And I've got to say, these Thunder fans are really not doing it for me in terms of being fun to banter with.
I love a
It's
little bants, dude. Don't be so personal
like
about it.
it's just not like there's banter, but it's not like, I don't know. I prefer more like witty repartee. I don't need just pure animus and anger and oh yeah, well we don't even really care about this game that we said we were gonna win by 20 points. You know, like
Enjoy the leather all week, and then
have
we
some
get in the
have
leather,
some
and then
fun. have
Uh,
some fun with it.
what do you got for this week? Speaking of having some fun, are you gonna have some fun with this?
I think uh, the Spurs win the games that they're supposed to win. I think the Thunder answer back ahead of the rematch on Christmas Day. Although, I mean, wouldn't it be so much fun if they if the Spurs just had OKC's number, beat them each of the 5 times they played this year? Uh, I would love nothing more. But my brain has to override here and say 3-1. Which, by the way, the Spurs are winning like 75% of their games so far this year, which is pretty neat.
They're on
Pretty
a
cool.
60 win pace currently. At this current pace, they
Pretty
would be
cool.
60-22.
Man,
I'm gonna
only 60 wins? Fuck.
man, but I'm gonna go 3-1 this week. I think we're splitting OKC, but I think they're both gonna be good games. So I'll go with that. And before my dog starts barking again, we're gonna sign off, y'all. What do you guys got to tell the people before Christmas?
Enjoy your Christmas, enjoy your holidays, enjoy time with family if you get a chance to spend it with them or whoever you get to spend your holidays with. It's a great time of year to appreciate who's in your life and who's there for you and who's supporting what you're doing and your family and whatnot. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to all of our people that watch, and we love y'all.
And Festivus for the rest of us. Yeah, no, I love you guys. Merry Christmas to all a good night or good morning or whenever you're listening to this. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your enemies. Put the Silver and Black Coffee Hour in your stockings for your friends and loved ones.
Nice.
And yeah, stay warm out there, y'all. Much love.
Absolutely. Podcasts work great as a stocking stuffer. They take up no room physically and all the room mentally. So,
It's free too.
for those of your friends and family that are out there and they've been in the wilderness in their basketball fandom, or they're ready to enter into their basketball fandom, or maybe they were hurt by the Spurs in the past and they were like, I don't know if I can do this. Give them the gift of the Silver and Black Coffee Hour, a product of Boris Yeehaw Productions. Here at Silver and Black Coffee Hour, we are for the people. We're not exactly by the people because it's by the three of us. But
We're people, though. We're
we
for
are
sure
we are
people.
people. But I'm just not saying it's like we're not like having anybody on. But
Right.
we will talk with you. We'll see you hopefully at the games. Come say hi to us and have a happy and safe holidays, everyone. I hope everybody gets some time to relax, reflect. Sometimes during this time, people reflect and think about what am I going to do better the next year? And I want to quote my friend Brian, who says this every year on New Year's Eve. I've only gotten worse and I didn't learn anything. And with that, we'll see you guys later. Peace.